Welcome back to Let's Talk Business Phoenix, the Greater Phoenix Chambers podcast. I'm your host, Todd Sanders, President and CEO of the Greater Phoenix Chamber. Throughout each episode, we're going to explore key issues impacting our businesses, our community, and our state, highlighting opportunities for growth, addressing some challenges, and bringing leaders together to continue moving Phoenix forward. Let's jump into today's discussion. Welcome back to the podcast. We have a very, very special guest. We have Mayor Kate Gallego, who happens to be the 62nd mayor of the city of Phoenix, who started us all off in our first podcast and now is here for her third appearance. Mayor, thanks for being here.
It's a pleasure to be back and fun to reflect on all the milestones along the way.
Absolutely. Well, speaking of milestones, this is the first year of your second term. Obviously, a lot's happened in this first year. Talk to us a little bit about what that first year has looked like.
So it was an incredible 2025. We had some of the biggest economic announcement in the country. Here's a great day to be mayor. On one day in March, TSMC announced $165 billion, and Mayo Clinic also announced a multi-billion-dollar commitment. So some of the most important economic advancements in the country, and we had multiple in the same day. It was like a Monday in March, and I was like, I mean, I'll just take the whole week off. Like, how are you going to
You kind of can, but of course you didn't.
Right. Well, and how exciting, though, the world's most advanced chips made in two places, Taiwan and Phoenix, Arizona. So many of the best medical treatment, and not just at Mayo, but so many of our institutions are really leading the way. Sometimes it feels like Phoenix is the envy of so many of our peers.
Well, you know, when I talk to my colleagues around the country, they are envious. It's hard to believe that something like that could happen here. And then you mentioned things like Mayo and other expansions that are happening here, all of the companies that follow TSMC here. And it almost does feel too good to be true.
And I think what's really important, again, is that we did this as a team effort. Yeah. We planned ahead. I always date it to the real estate downturn in 2008. And we, as a community, said we want to make sure we diversify. We're going to take areas like healthcare and advanced manufacturing, where we're already doing a great job, but really double down on expanding. And it was everyone from our education partners to the business community to government at multiple levels. I think our secret sauce is that we can work together, school boards, cities, state, and go in the same direction. And so we ought to be proud. We've done things that are hard by cooperating, by not saying everyone needs to take the most credit and that we can work together, and that's a real credit for us.
I agree. The intentionality is really what stands out, and it goes back to sort of the fundamentals of policy and economic development. There's no secret sauce out there other than just the fundamentals, getting the work done, not worrying about who takes the credit, and look at that ROI, even from that first trip that you took to Taiwan.
Absolutely. My first trip as mayor was to Taiwan to recruit TSMC, and it's been something that's changed the city throughout my time as mayor. We worked so hard and kept following up, and they made the original announcement in the summer of 2020, so that tough COVID summer when there was not feeling like much good news at all. And it was so great for me as mayor to realize the things that were special about Phoenix before COVID would continue to be our ability to succeed after COVID. So that was wonderful. Originally a $12 billion announcement, but now $165 billion. We have now 50 companies that are part of that semiconductor ecosystem that have made great investments, most of them new to our market since TSMC announced. I was just with our first graduating class of apprentices. So the city of Phoenix invests in workforce. We try to make sure our residents get the skills they need to get the jobs of tomorrow. Apprenticeship style learning is really special. You take classes, but also work and get paid while you're in school.
Applied learning.
Right.
Yeah.
So on the job, we do it with our wonderful community college partners, and NAU is also a partner in this program. I got to meet young people who were working in fast food before they went into the apprenticeship program and now have great careers, don't have to work a second job, getting a mortgage and starting a family. And that's just been really exciting to be with them on their whole journey and see what a difference it's made for their family. So I've now been mayor long enough that I can have started things and then we're seeing them to fruition, right? I've gotten to see chips that were made in Phoenix at what was a piece of undeveloped state trust land when I took my oath of office. And it's changing the city for the better. We're getting international attention for what we're doing, and thank you to everyone who's been part of it.
Well, I appreciate that, and obviously leadership matters, and I think that intentionality obviously brought the most significant direct foreign investment into our country, but it's also having this incredible impact on generational change for people here in Phoenix, and that's a significant deal. When you think about that first trip, I mean, I'm assuming most people told you, well, it can't be done. We were probably a long shot. What drove that?
We looked at areas where we were already very successful, and the fact that starting in the old Motorola days and then with great investments from companies including Intel, we have a core of excellence. We looked at Arizona State University's engineering program, largest in the country. Right, we had good building blocks. We did know that TSMC was interested in expanding to the United States, and we really wanted to make a big push. I understand I was the only elected official who went out, so we competed with a lot of other states.
Okay, so you actually went out as an elected. Other folks were more on the economic development side?
That is my understanding.
Okay.
And I think I was able to make the argument that this is really important to me. I have a weird background for a mayor, but it was very relevant to this particular deal. So before I ran for mayor, I worked in the utility industry and was actually in economic development. Yeah. I did a teeny tiny role in Intel's expansion. So this was an industry I had some working experience with. Semiconductors have some very unique needs, including with energy and water. And they really grilled me in Taiwan, but I was glad to have the right background to be able to hang and answer some of those questions, and also just show this was something that really mattered to me. As you know, I bought my first home in the single month peak of the market in 2008, and so it's personal for me to try to diversify our economy and make us more resilient, and I think that mattered to TSMC, and it's not just me. At all levels of government, we're really committed to advanced manufacturing and to diversifying our economy, and the benefits are significant. $165 billion of direct spend means we're bringing in a lot of wealth to our community, so our residents benefit even if they're not working at the plant.
Absolutely.
I gotta say, our Asian food game has
that is a nice
dramatically expanded, and so many good restaurants opening. We're now gonna have not just one, but two carriers serving nonstop service.
I want to get to that later. I'm very excited about that.
Yes.
Before we move on from this topic, you mentioned Mayo, a multi-billion-dollar investment. How is that going to impact us here in Phoenix? I mean, incredible investment on the healthcare side.
It is. They will offer cutting-edge technology, and the city of Phoenix has been a real infrastructure partner. We've also helped finance some cutting-edge tools to treat cancer, and we were a financial partner through our Industrial Development Authority on a rehabilitation facility. So we really are working these things don't happen accidentally, and the government does play a really important role in that. Mayo is not the only healthcare institution that is a key partner for us at the City of Phoenix.
Correct.
I'm super excited that ASU Medical School got accredited this year. That'll be a joint program where you'll also get an engineering degree.
It's a great mix.
If I were a young person right now, this is something I would seriously think about. The ability to bring the best technology and help find the treatments and cures of the future. Mm-hmm. I know so many of our doctors are entrepreneurial, and what a great background to help people solve their problems and invest in future technology. ASU is also going to try to help us address public health challenges as well. And, you know, from addiction to addressing heat, having ASU Medical School in our downtown, in addition to the great other medical schools we have here, I think will be a real force magnifier.
I agree. I was at the groundbreaking where you helped do that dedication, and thinking about bringing some medicine and engineering together. I was reading the Isaacson book about Da Vinci and how he brought art and science together, and obviously revolutionized that part of the world, and bringing the medical community along with engineering, I think, is going to be a big game changer. One of the other areas where you've had a very strong voice and really took the lead, and I think this also leads into TSMC, was transportation. Just had in the past election cycle, we were able to, we approved the extension of Prop 400,
Why has that been such an important factor for you, given that essentially Phoenix is built out in many ways? Why was that such an important an important area for you to emphasize?
When people outside of our community ask me, what's the secret sauce? That collaboration is one of the things I always mention. And we have collaborated so well on transportation investment. So Prop 400 has been our regional sales tax. When you purchase something in this county, a little bit of the money goes to invest in our infrastructure system. The fact that we plan ahead, that we build ahead, has helped us be so economically successful. It's a reason why we have one of the fastest average commute times compared to large cities. If you're listening to this right now in your car and you're stuck in traffic, I apologize, but without these investments, it would be even
change,
more complicated. Right. The Prop 400 helped us bring more than 400 new freeway miles, more than 130 bus revenue miles. I mean, huge scale of investments in a much stronger valley. We built out freeway loops and made key investments. We're now also going to be investing to really maintain and improve key freeways like I-17 that are a little bit aged right now.
Yep, absolutely.
The first big investment with the new transportation campaign will be at the 303 and I-17. So going back to the TSMC area of town, and we're really excited to just continue planning and investing and thinking about transportation. Another great success story. The business community was incredibly supported, as was philanthropy, nonprofits. And then a real point of pride, I got to chair the committee of mayors that approved the plan, where are we spending the money? And we did it unanimously with the region's mayors.
Something to be said about that, especially in this age of sort of active disagreement for the sake of disagreeing, to have all of our valley mayors come together and not get everything they wanted, but still come forward with a plan.
Democrats, Republicans, and independents who work together. I think if each of us did the plan on his or her own, we might have had a different plan, but there was collaboration and cooperation, and that left us with a stronger valley. What Phoenix needs is very different from what Wickenburg needs. And we were able to work together. And if you care about fighting potholes or investing in the most modern technology so you're not stuck at a stoplight that won't change, all of this you'll be benefiting from. We have a pot of money for innovation, so we can try to have the best technology, because we all see points on our commute where, don't you wish the signals were timed better?
I talk about that a lot.
And so now we have a funding source. And it's a regional funding source, which puts us at an advantage compared to so many of our peer regions.
Well, and I can tell you we were thrilled with the outcome. And certainly it was, I think, a big fight at the legislature. But when we got to the voters, it was sort of a non-issue, which shows that they, I think, appreciate the investment ahead of time, so that we're not LA or some of these, or Dallas or Austin. Speaking of transportation, and you mentioned Skylux, I wanted to talk about something that you actually announced at our State of the City, your State of the City, which was the addition of a new terminal at Sky Harbor. I understand the news that came out that we're actually going to be actually ahead of schedule on getting that ground broken. Is that correct?
We are hoping and think we'll be able to expedite it by multiple years. It was funny at State of the City when I announced the new terminal. Everyone was ready to fly tomorrow. and so we try to take that energy from our community and expedite as much as possible. The airport is an incredible economic engine, more than $44 billion in investment, but we know we can continue to grow it. It is a huge asset for our community, and so we're doing everything we can to add more gates and more capacity. One thing that's a big change that I'm really proud of is now we're becoming more and more important for cargo. Semiconductors travel by air. And so most of the things you and I buy, right, they travel ground transportation and boats, but high value, hot commodities travel by air. And so we're seeing more and more international cargo. And that makes the economics of more international flights possible.
Yes.
That's part of the reason we have not one, but two carriers serving Phoenix to Taiwan. And we think we're going to continue to see growth in that area. So fun if you want to go on vacation, but then again, it's also just bringing economic activity in and helping lower tax burdens or bring in new growth that benefits you, even if you have no interest in going to Taiwan. But incredible dumplings, great art, beautiful views, wonderful culture.
Good people.
you can get through customs in Phoenix as opposed to
Yes.
some of those West Coast cities where the wait is much longer.
How much nicer. And I think, too, when I talk to my colleagues, and I'm sure when you talk to yours around the country, having Sky Harbor basically in the middle of the heart of the city, not 45 miles out like Denver, is such a huge benefit. And the fact that it's serving us so well.
One of the reasons Wall Street Journal gave us that top award was that you can get from gate to downtown so quickly. It's a good travel experience. You don't have to take a train for an hour to get to the airport or spend a huge amount of time on your commute. It's more time with your family or on business, and it's a good customer experience. We also get bonuses for our weather, right? We don't have a lot of snow delays.
It's good,
in Phoenix,
not a lot of shoveling snow on the runway. No, it's absolutely true, and it seems like the new terminal is going to line right up. It will be able to link right into the internal light rail system at the airport, and looks like we're already building infrastructure to meet those needs.
Absolutely. So we planned ahead when we built the SkyTrain to make sure that we could add capacity immediately. The airport has been making sure we have land.
Right.
And there's a lot of planning in this because we do not have as much space as many of the airports in our peer cities. So we have to be smarter about how we use it and really plan ahead. And we did a great master plan, also unanimously approved by the Phoenix City Council. We want to make sure our partners like the National Guard can continue to succeed while we add more flights and capacity.
That's an important mission. So as far as moving ahead in terms of the schedule, when do we think we might have a potential completion of that terminal? What year?
I think we are hopeful that we've moved it up by 3 years. I am term limited, so sadly I will not be the mayor cutting the ribbon, but we're going to keep making great investments that you'll see the difference of in the meantime.
Excellent. And the two carriers that we now have are serving Taiwan, which is absolutely true, and is nonstop, correct? Now both are nonstop?
Yes, both are nonstop. Several years ago at State of the City, I announced we were going to try to get nonstop service to Asia.
I remember.
In politics, it's dangerous to announce these things when you don't have a clear path, but I felt like with our economic growth and our great international partnerships, I could see the pathway there. My first meeting with both of these airlines was in 2019, and we really had to make a case for Phoenix then. Yep. At the time, I had one airline meeting where the airline executive was surprised that Phoenix was larger than San Francisco and Seattle. We're larger than both combined. But now I think we're getting better known, and it's not quite as hard to make the case for Phoenix, and they're thrilled to be there. If you do want an interesting perspective on our city, there's some English language commercials for the Taiwan audience about what you should do and see in Phoenix. And it's very Wild West focused.
Excellent. Okay, well, we'll take that, right?
It's not usually what as mayor of Phoenix, say people should do when they're coming to Phoenix, but I guess there's a great appreciation of cowboy culture in Taiwan.
We have some cowboys here. We'll take that. And it is nice. I mean, I think I got to take the Air France nonstop already. Obviously, we have American and BA to Europe, and now two more to Asia. And I'm sure you're working on some more, and we'll certainly look forward to that. As we think about sort of how we're on the map, and you talked about how all of a sudden, we're seeing very differently. I think as far as large events, we've had good success with the Super Bowls, but all of a sudden Final Four. I mean, more and more we're seen as this hub for large scale events that are even international in scale. Talk to us a little bit about that.
We are Championship Valley. We do a great job with what we call mega events, these incredible sporting events. And it's been so exciting to have so many championship games from Super Bowls to World Series during my time as mayor. One of the things that we have worked on with Visit Phoenix is to set up a major events committee. We were one of the largest cities without one. And so we have a great team that'll continue planning from one event to the next. And right now they're working on Women's Final Four. We're going to have that come April. And then they'll go straight into the All-Star Game. February, the Valentine's Day weekend, our friends in California have the NBA All-Star Game, and then they'll hand the ball off to us.
There we go.
We'll deliver in 2027. So that continuity really helps, and the fact that from the airport to our great first responders, their experience, they know how to plan ahead and have a smooth but great guest experience. We get such strong reviews. The WNBA All-Star team said they'd never felt so warmly welcomed. And
excellent.
we love that feedback, and we try to do better every time.
As we think about...
and you should get your tickets now for
yes.
women's Final Four.
So, that's coming
Even
right
though it's
up.
called March Madness, it's the first week of April.
Absolutely. You talked a little bit at the start of the podcast about intentionality. And as I'm looking at sort of the footprint of sports in the Valley and looking ahead in terms of our economic development portfolio, should we be thinking about sports and everything related to that as part of our economic development strategy?
We know that we've had companies locate here where the executive team first came out for a sporting event, and so that's very important. We are trying to also think of beyond sports and do multiple bigger events. Forbes 30 Under 30 has made a 3-year commitment to Phoenix, and so they'll be having a large gathering of the top entrepreneurs. I have been the youngest big city mayor for quite a while, but 30 Under 30, I'm so far past that. So these are really rising stars at a young age, and we'll welcome those events as well. We're really excited, and we, I think, are well positioned between our weather, our infrastructure, and then our hospitality to continue winning these great competitive bids.
I'd love to steal the Formula One from Vegas. I mean, we could do it so much better. Let's just face it. I mean, I'll leave it at that. I'm good friends with the Phoenix or the Vegas chamber folks, but I do think we do better. Olympics 2028, that's coming right up. Obviously, we're going to play a role in that, we think.
We are very much hoping. The most recent milestone was we started a bid for the qualifying marathon for the Olympics. We're, I think, looking at a couple different sports where they'll have qualifying events, and we are the big city closest to LA in the same time zone, so that gives us some incredible competitive advantages. And when the world is coming to our part of the United States,
absolutely,
we're ready to roll out the carpet. We're already hearing from athletes who are training here, and ASU has quite a number of Olympians, and we have so many training in the Flagstaff area.
I was thinking the High Altitude Training Center. Absolutely.
So between Northern Arizona and the Phoenix Metro, we can really offer a complete training package, and that's a nice advantage for us.
Absolutely, absolutely. So we're pivoting a little bit, but to something that we've, I think, focused on for a long time, and part of that strategy early on is biosciences. Clearly, I think we've now have a footprint, again, nationally on the bioscience side. Talk to us a little bit about those efforts and where you see them going.
So we have several areas in the city of Phoenix that are key cores in that area. Our downtown Phoenix Biomedical Core brings together multiple different universities. I'm lucky to be a mayor that represents NAU, U of A, and ASU. We've also welcomed Tufts School of Medicine to our downtown, and in partnership with the city, our voters, through the bonds, have invested in bringing these investments. First U of A Medical School, now ASU Health, which is not just a medical school, also nursing, public health, and more. So those incredible benefits. We're building more and more entrepreneurial space where we can have startups. And we're combining a couple different areas of excellence. So we have welcomed several bioscience companies from Taiwan. It's amazing how TSMC provides and pays dividends in other areas, including bringing medical devices that might help monitor you and get you out of the hospital earlier so you can get home care. Like real tangible benefits that have come.
It's that center of gravity. So it also seems like there's a lot of collaboration in that area as well. I mean, that's, again, I think it's part of our sort of secret sauce here in Phoenix is that we do collaborate. We don't just talk about it, but it seems like especially in that industry, those collaborations are pretty effective.
And we work very well with the Board of Regents, who has set up a governing body for the Phoenix Bioscience Core led by Scarlett Spring that brings the talents of the universities together and coordinates with us. The city of Phoenix is making key investments. We're supporting the University of Arizona building an advanced immunological center in our downtown called CAMI, and a neat partnership there. We worked with Creighton, which is in
of our universities here.
Yes, so Creighton has a great medical program more in the Midtown area at Park Central, and the city helped a lot with the infrastructure, the parking. Light rail is right there to make that incredible investment possible. We're working with partners like Dignity and Barrows another internationally important institution that's here,
Absolutely.
and the city's helped them get new land so that they can grow in the area and make key investments. So I know we started with Mayo, but
Right.
in every part of our community, we're seeing key investments, and that makes a difference for people who work in those industries, but for those of us who need care, you don't have to leave town. As you know, my mom,
Yes.
when she got cancer, got the recommendation to go to Houston. I'm trying to make sure we have the very best options in Phoenix, Arizona.
It's incredibly poignant. I mean, and you're right. And the idea that you can not have to leave, you can stay here because the travel is difficult. And I think that is something that I think is having a direct impact on people here on a daily basis. Along, obviously, with some of the other items that I think you've championed. I love when I go to the airport and they talk about the fact that it's a dementia-friendly airport. We both had parents that suffered from that, and you know how hard that is. We both know, and it makes a difference for people.
We know traveling can be tough no matter what, but we're really trying to be a welcoming airport. We have quiet space for people with a dementia-type diagnosis and real supports. We've now made investments. Your hearing aid can connect directly in. Can help you navigate if you're visually impaired. We have a wonderful program to support families that are neurodiverse, including an autism diagnosis. And with a program called Wings Over Autism, we'll bring families to the airport to do a pilot. Families go through security, and then they board a plane and they do a little trip around the tarmac and come back. If you've never flown with your kid and learning that you're able to do that safely, getting a low stress practice with people who are supportive is such a gift.
Yep, it's a game changer.
I got to meet one family, their kid, I think, was a teenager, never been on an airplane, but because of that program, they were going to get to go to Disneyland.
Yeah, and they should be able to. But you're right, as a parent, that would be terrifying, not to know how that might go. And to have a little practice beforehand makes a difference. Well, since we're talking about sort of all things air all of a sudden again, advanced air mobility seems to all of a sudden be in the vernacular. I know that we're one of the pilot cities, correct? Talk to us a little bit about what that's all about.
So we are a real hub for advanced air mobility. That includes companies like Honeywell that are doing the most advanced work with autopilots and unmanned craft. We have companies that make advanced vehicles for the military here, but also for commercial. We are such a hub for training pilots for traditional aircraft. Funny story, the chairman of the airline from Taiwan got pilot training in the valley.
Is that right?
His first time landing a really specialized aircraft was in the valley.
I love that.
So meant to be.
Yep.
So again, training all that pilots means that when we have these advanced air mobility vehicles, we're in a good position to train those pilots. We're obviously now on a leading edge of drone air delivery. I know controversial to some people, but
Is it happening though? We're doing
so
it?
Phoenix was the first large city in the country to have Amazon's version with vehicles. It's in the west side of our community right now. There's a national competition where they'll pick a few communities to be spotlights and to get additional resources in advanced air mobility. Governor Hobbs and a group called Southwest MAC are leading our effort in that area. But the city of Phoenix is very involved and supportive. Sky Harbor has put out an advanced air mobility plan, so leading edge among cities in that area. When we did our 10-year strategic plan, we started thinking about, are there areas of the city where we might need landing pads and equipment for advanced air mobility? It's really kind of cool to think about what the possibilities are and how Phoenix might be on the leading edge.
Yeah, Michael will be driving one of those one of these days, if you let him.
Oh my God, Todd. So for those of you who don't know my family, that's my 8-year-old son, and this is my first moment thinking about him driving, and I to go straight to aircraft.
I'm sure he'd be great.
He loves those video games, so he might be.
Yeah.
We're learning with our police and fire department, our first responders, that some of the young people who are great at video games also are great at piloting a little craft to see if there's a fire and if it's fully extinguished. So
He's a digital native.
Right.
I mean, I'm sure for him getting in a Waymo is just not a big deal. Whereas I remember the first time I got one, it took me about 5 minutes to sort of calm down. But now it's normal. And for him, it's just everyday life.
Well, he's just stunned that I'm older than the iPad. that technology wasn't available. How could young people live?
That's great. You mentioned the fact that we're all of a sudden seeing a nice influx of new Asian restaurants, which is absolutely tremendous. But we're kind of all of a sudden becoming a foodie scene in Phoenix. It seemed to happen pretty quickly, but was it an overnight sort of success?
We've
or
had incredible chefs here, but we are really working to make sure they get recognition. People sometimes tease me that I spend a lot of time on food and beverage, but I think it's part of a community, and our restaurants are really important economic contributors. They're great employers. I want to make sure they get the credit that's due. So at our last State of the City conversation, I talked about that we were pursuing Michelin.
Yep.
They have committed, so we are going to be having Michelin raters in our community. They're going to go out and check out our restaurants. Yes.
I guarantee we have one here, at least one.
Well, I hope it'll help our residents discover new places to celebrate and have a great meal. I also hope it'll get more attention for our restaurants from tourists and credit. We know people who are interested in arts, culture, and food and beverage tend to stay longer and spend more money. So again, contributors to our economy. But we are a great food city, and I want to make sure the rest of the world knows the talent that we have.
I agree. It's amazing. And when people come here, they're I don't know why they're surprised, but they're surprised. And also the variety, which doesn't exist in all cities. And I think that when you look at sort of what's happened just in the last 10 years and how much maybe the spotlight on these new restaurants or existing restaurants has really been nice to see, and to see them flourish as well.
Absolutely. We are seeing so many talented chefs get top recognition. And I've gotten to work with Visit Phoenix, Arizona Office of Tourism, and more to really try to start getting more reporters. We've gotten several big national stories about the great restaurants that are here. And I am going to make my debut as a restaurant reviewer this year. There's a wonderful PBS show, Check Please.
Oh, yeah? Yeah.
So Mayor Hartke of Chandler and Mayor Woods of Tempe and I are each going to review restaurants in the other's cities. And
Excellent.
I suspect I'm going to have to keep my day job, but
Hey, you never know.
These assignments I'm willing to accept on behalf of the good people of our
do it for the
community.
good of the people. Absolutely. Well, I don't want to end our chat without talking about what the city's doing for small and mid-sized business. As you know, backbone of our economy, we're a small and mid-sized business town. What are some of the initiatives that you and the council are looking at or engaging in to make sure that small and mid-sized businesses have a path not only to succeed but to thrive?
Probably the most visible one to so many of our residents is to make sure that at Sky Harbor and the Convention Center, other city properties, that small businesses get a chance to shine. I hope when you're at the airport, you see how many of our great local restaurants are showcased there, so that when you're at Sky Harbor and it's an extension of your time in Phoenix, it's the food and beverage that you love here. Same at the Convention Center, where we're trying to get more and more local products. We're also, in addition to making it easier to do business with the city, trying to support our businesses. Our great folks in economic development can help you with business intelligence. We have access to a lot of different data tools. So if you're trying to go to your financing partners and you want to make the case for how big your market is, we can really help you with that. Some of that is actually driven also by our community. We will go out in different parts of the city and our residents will say, we want more sit-down restaurants, or we need a bookstore, and we can come up with how big is the trade area that you'll be supporting, what's the average income, all that data we collect to make sure the streets work well. We can share with businesses how many people are going by your business, and we hope that helps us recruit the businesses our residents want and grow the businesses that are already here. So really fun.
Absolutely. And obviously big news, our good friend Chris Mackey is now over at GPEC. As a matter of fact, I got to have coffee with her this morning. But we now have a new director of economic development, and someone that I think our business community can really work with.
We've recruited a great economic development director who was in Virginia previously and has been part of really big deals, but also supporting our small entrepreneurs. So we are excited that we have great talent at the city and as well as the region.
Absolutely. Well, more to come. I think that obviously as we're wrapping up the year, when you look back at the last, what are 2 or 3 things that really stood out for you from the last year?
For me, the first Asia flight was a really big deal. It had been a decade of work for me to get there. I was looking through my phone, and I had so many pictures of different airline meetings where we were trying to recruit and do the pitch about our great data. At all of the airline meetings, you often get small model airplanes, and I have a fleet now. But just the hard work and paying off was really wonderful and felt great. And then I'm trying to decide between the apprenticeship graduation was wonderful and the ASU medical school. I want to make sure that the Kate Gallegos of tomorrow don't have to deal with that mortgage problem I dealt with in 2008. And it feels like we're making such tangible progress, and that we'll have so many areas of excellence that a young person can pick a career path that makes sense.
Yeah. And stay in Phoenix, correct?
And stay in Phoenix. We all want our kids to think Phoenix is so cool they'll never want to leave.
I agree, both our kids. And looking forward to next year, what are some things that that you think we might be talking about next year?
So the Chamber worked with us on the general obligation bond, which is funding that ASU health, but also some great investments in arts and culture, libraries and fire stations. And so that'll be something that will be great to celebrate, as well as the new regional transportation projects starting to happen. And we're excited about that. On the public policy side, one issue that we at the City of Phoenix are seeing a lot is data centers. Mm-hmm. And we're hoping to get a chance to really modernize and think about how and where we incentivize them and what the community benefits are.
The framework, sure. Mm-hmm. And I should point out, we're taping this December, and this is coming out in January, so we are talking about 2026. We'll finish off with a couple of things that I mentioned. Michael, what's the latest? What's he into now? It was dinosaurs, then it was trucks.
So we went, I think when the Jurassic World Rebirth movie came out, we sort of come back to dinosaurs, and that is
Have you become a dinosaur expert?
I know a stunning amount, really? At least compared to where I began. So now if I'm at a museum or something, I can often recognize dinosaurs at a...
Yeah, we had a nephew, and I mentioned Brontosaurus, and he's like, that's just not a thing. I was way behind on my nomenclature of dinosaurs.
But now I know that oddest things about which fossils were found where, and... Do you know there's both an Arizonasaurus and a Sonorosaurus?
I did not know that. There we go. Well, it's a good thing that we have Michael to help us with that. Well, we'll do a quick lightning round. This is easy. What's your favorite holiday tradition?
I guess I love making and frosting cookies now that I have an 8-year-old. And so that's been a lot of fun. This year he was finally responsible enough to do the own food coloring without, dyeing the kitchen.
Yes, very
good. And was
did he get it right?
He did get it right. So real commitment to making the blue or the red in Santa. Took a lot of work to get it not pink but red.
What's your New Year's resolution? Or do you even do one?
So I have not yet made a New Year's resolution, but I think it may involve time management and just making sure that I focus on what's important and not just what's urgent.
Well, you just need more hours in the day and you'll be fine.
That would be amazing. Right. It used to slow down for me in the summer and as you got around to the holiday season, and that has not felt like as much the case.
Yeah, it's really true. Things do not slow down. And certainly this is the last really couple weeks in the year, and it's going full boat right now. And then finally, if you could have a superhero superpower, such as flying or whatever, what would it be?
I would definitely want to fly.
Would you? Me too.
Yep.
Okay.
When I get asked if I want to be an animal, I would love to be one of the ones that can just soar. And when you're in a job like mayor, you love how cities are built and laid out, and a good skyline is a beautiful thing.
I so agree with that. Someone's like, no, it should be teleportation. Well, that takes all the fun out of it. I 100% agree with that. Would you go over the oceans, though?
Oh, I would love to.
Would you? All right.
Love to fly over the oceans and see the beautiful, but also admire Phoenix's gorgeous mountains.
Well, thank you, Mayor. Thanks for being here. Thanks for your leadership and also your friendship. And we look forward to having you back next year and looking back.
Thanks for a great tradition. Have a great 2026.
Thanks.
Thanks for tuning in to Let's Talk Business Phoenix. Now, if you enjoyed today's episode, be sure to follow or subscribe to our channel so that you never miss an episode. We're glad that you could join us, and we look forward to seeing you next time.